So I'm going to go ahead and log into Salesforce now, and my credentials are already defaulted into the screen here. So I'm just going to click Login. And this takes us to the home page in Salesforce. Now, just a quick overview for those of you not familiar with Salesforce. Across the top here are a series of tabs, which correspond to the different functional areas within Salesforce. The Home tab just has a number of summary areas. There's a shortcut bar, there's a recent items area, custom links, messages and alerts. You can have dashboards on display. You have a summary of your particular account, things that you've done for your particular login. And there's Chatter, which is a collaboration app. There's accounts. Accounts hold different kinds of objects associated with individuals, and they're households, chapters, in the case of membership or fraternal organizations, and then organizations and corporations, any kind of organization that an individual can be affiliated with. And then normally individuals are called contacts in Salesforce, but they've been renamed here to members, as that's a more useful term for the organization we're working with here. We've got a ChapterSpot console. This is a console that allows us to interact with the ChapterSpot system. And you've got fundraising campaigns, appeals, funds, gifts and pledges, transactions, batches, opportunities, documents, dashboards, reports, quick merge links. We've got a chapter details object here. Anyways, Salesforce is a very rich system, and getting into all this is beyond the scope of this particular demo, but I thought I'd just give a quick overview. But now we're going to take a look at the ChapterSpot console. And it'll just take a moment to load. So the ChapterSpot console is divided into four main areas. This top area here is called Manage ChapterSpot Event Logs. And this is a section where you can see when the last log was started and when the last log ended. Logs are information that ChapterSpot has compiled about changes that have occurred in the ChapterSpot system. They're organized by chapter or by group in ChapterSpot's terms. And so this upper section just lets you you see the last logs that have been retrieved. Typically they're scheduled on a nightly basis to run at about 2 a.m. But you can also click on this button here for check event logs and then pull the logs that have been, the log entries that have been created since the last time you were over there. The next section down is called event logs, and these are given a unique ID here in Salesforce. And they indicate which chapter they're associated with, and they have an event count. These are all the individual things like membership create or membership profile update, say an address change, something like that, or a phone number change, and a status change or a role change. There's a column for status. These are all indicating success. Start date and end date for the particular log. Anyways, I'll scroll down past that. And then there's a section for log details, which I'll get into in just a minute. That shows for an individual log, what are all the events that have happened in that log. And then the ChapterSpot update queue. This is a queue of items that will be updated back to the ChapterSpot system on a nightly basis. So with that, I'm going to come back up here. And the particular change that we had made over on the ChapterSpot side to the Boise State chapter by adding John Wayne as a member is in this log here, the second one down. So I'm going to click on this, this ID here and then scroll down. And then the event log details are shown here. And the event type for that particular situation was a membership event. The action was create. The action was conducted by this particular user, which is me. I've also got a 2 on the end of my name there. And then there's a checkbox to indicate that the action's been completed in Salesforce and who it's been completed by and the completed date. The target member is John Wayne, as you can see here. And then there's a summary of the event date as well. So the way this works here is each event in the particular log is available for us to complete the action in Salesforce. So in this action column, I've got a live link where it says create. So if I click this, it will then create this member, John Wayne, in the Salesforce system. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to prompt me here with a little message box asking me if I want to complete this action. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now if I scroll back down to this area, in just a moment it should pop back up and say that the action was completed. And there it is. So the checkbox has been filled in, the action was completed by Monument Cloud, and the completed date is filled in as well as the time. So now I'm going to go back and look at members, and I'm going to open this up in a new browser tab. And you can see that we've got an entry for John Wayne here under recent members, and I'll click on John. And all the information that had been populated on the ChapterSpot side has been incorporated into John Wayne's record here in ChapterSpot. Now, some of the information goes into the member record or contact record, and some of it goes into the account record. And I'm going to go ahead and open the accounts in a new tab as well. And we'll just pop over here, and you can see that we've got a recent account. John Wayne has been added. And here's the remainder of the information that's come over from ChapterSpot. All of his address information has been filled in, and his parent affiliation with the Boise State chapter has been created, account record type of household, account type of member. So, so all that info from ChapterSpot has been incorporated into Salesforce just by clicking on that action link on the ChapterSpot console. So now I'm going to go back over to ChapterSpot, and I'm going to go to our new pledge status here, and here's John Wayne. And John Wayne, if we click on him, I'm going to update his status to interim. And then we'll scroll down and click Save Changes. And we'll go back to the ChapterSpot console. And now I'm going to click Check Event Logs. And you can see here in red it says Calling ChapterSpot API. And it takes a moment to go out across the internet and call over to the ChapterSpot system. Now it says done. I've got a new log here. Let's scroll down and take a look at that. And here we've got an event type of status assignment, an action link of update, and again, the target member of John Wayne. So now I'm going to go ahead and click update here. And again, I get the message box asking me to confirm. So I'll click OK. And now I'll go back to the member tab and hit F5 to refresh. And you can see here if I scroll down that his member status has now been updated to interim. So now I'm going to go back to ChapterSpot and I'm going to make one more change that is a part of the normal process flow for this particular organization. So I'll click here in the interim status, and John Wayne's there. I'll click on him to edit, and we'll make one more change here to the status, and we're going to set him as undergraduate. And I'll scroll down and click Save Changes. And now I will go back over here and click Check Event Logs. Again, these would normally run on a nightly basis, but to speed things up, we're just going to check them on a real-time basis here. We're calling out to the ChapterSpot API again. And in just a moment, this should come back as done. Good. So we've got another event log. Scroll down here. You can see I've got another status assignment update here. Status assignment with an action of update. And I'll go ahead and click Update and click OK. And now if I go back over to the member and refresh, our member status is now undergraduate. Now the way the system has been set up, this change in status from interim to undergraduate has caused a trigger to fire inside of Salesforce, and that trigger makes the assignment of a national serial number, a national ID number in the national database here on the Salesforce side. And that will create an item in a queue for being updated back to the ChapterSpot system. So if I go here now to the ChapterSpot console page again and refresh and scroll down, I should have a new item here for John Wayne. And sure enough, I do. The column called Complete in ChapterSpot has not been checked yet. So now I'm going to just go ahead and click on this button. Again, this would normally process, at 2 a.m. every night, but we want it to happen right now for demo purposes. So I'll click this Update ChapterSpot button and refresh and scroll back down, and you can see the checkbox has been checked here. And you can see the national serial number here of 27299 has been assigned. And if we go back to the ChapterSpot system and then go to click on John Wayne again, and if I scroll down, you can see here the national serial number has now been filled in. This is information that was passed from Salesforce back to ChapterSpot, so that now that at the chapter level, they can have access to their national serial number in case a member needs to make a phone number and refer to that particular number for looking up information. So that's a round trip of information from ChapterSpot over to Salesforce, firing a trigger in Salesforce, and then that information being entered in a queue and then processed back over to the ChapterSpot system. So now we're going to make another change in ChapterSpot. I shouldn't have clicked out of that. Let's go and look at roles here. Let's see here, roles. And we've got an active org treasurer role here. And right now it is unassigned. So here in roles, I'm going to click on the little pencil to make an assignment. And here for active org treasurer, I'm going to click on our new member, John Wayne, and then we will click on Save Changes. And we'll go back to the ChapterSpot console, and we'll click on Check Event Logs. Again, it says calling the ChapterSpot API. We'll wait just a moment. And we've got another log here. So we'll click on Log Details. And you can see we've got two events that have come through. One is to indicate that member profile was updated with the national serial number, that assignment of the national serial number. And then the role assignment has been made. And we've got an action link here where I can click on Create. And again, I get a message box asking me to confirm. And we'll click OK. And come back, and you can see the action has now been completed in Salesforce. And now what we're going to do is go over to the officer's information area. And you can see here that John Wayne has now been assigned to the Boise State Active Org Treasurer role. And it shows that he's in office. There's a beginning date of today, and an ending date has not been filled in. And now if we go back and we make one more change on the ChapterSpot side, we're going to go ahead and edit roles again. And we'll go back to the Active Org Treasurer, and we'll go back to having nobody assigned to that role. And I'll click on Save Changes. And that's complete. And now we'll go back over here to our ChapterSpot console and click check event logs. And we have a log here. We'll click on it for details, scroll down. So we've got a role assignment with a delete action on it. And if I click on that action, again, I'll click OK to confirm. And then we'll go back over here to officer's information. And the in-office flag has been removed now, and the end date has been filled in. So John Wayne had a very short tenure as active org treasurer. And that's the gist of the link between the two systems that we have. It's very tight integration. There's a nice console page here that summarizes all the information that's come over from ChapterSpot, summarizes the information that's going to be sent back over to ChapterSpot. Again, an area for log details where you can use the action links to complete the action in Salesforce. And it provides a very manageable, easy to use way to control the flow of information back and forth between the two systems. So if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to contact us at Monument Cloud. We'd be happy to talk to you. And thanks for watching our demo.